Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the world of liver transplants. It's a procedure that saves thousands of lives every single year. We're going to cover where these donor livers come from, how surgeons actually implant them, and we'll even look at this truly revolutionary idea, a transplant that isn't permanent.
So let's just start with a huge question. When you think transplant, you think that's it. It's a permanent fix. But what if it didn't have to be? What if a donor liver could just be a temporary bridge, something to buy time while a patient's own liver actually heals itself? It sounds kind of like science fiction, but we're going to break down exactly how it works.
Okay, first things first, the basics. A liver transplant is really the last line of defense. It's for patients whose livers are so damaged, so irreversibly scarred that no other treatment is going to work. We're talking about a procedure that is quite literally life or death. So if you need a new liver, where does it actually come from? Well, it turns out there are two main sources. The first one, and the one you probably think of, is a cadaver donor. That's an organ from someone who's been diagnosed as brain dead. But the second option is just incredible, a living donor. The liver has this almost magical ability to regenerate, so a healthy person can donate a piece of their liver and get this, it will grow back to full size in both them and the person who receives it. Just an amazing biological feat. All right, so we've got the new organ. Now where does it go? Because the placement strategy, well, that's just as critical as the source. The standard method, the one that's used most often, is called orthotopic transplantation. The easiest way to think about this is like a straight swap. Surgeons take out the patient's entire diseased liver and put the new donor liver right back in its natural anatomical spot. Out with the old, in with the new. And let's be clear, this isn't just one option among many. This complete replacement is the gold standard. It's the most common, the most preferred technique for liver transplants all over the world. But there is an alternative. It's called heterotopic transplantation, and it's different in two huge ways. First, the donor liver gets placed in a completely new spot in the abdomen. And second, and this is the wild part, the patient's original diseased liver isn't even removed. It just stays put. And this is what brings us back to that mind-blowing idea from the beginning. This is where things get really futuristic. The idea of a temporary, or what you might call a helper, liver. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? In this procedure, called an auxiliary transplant, the donor liver isn't meant to be a permanent replacement at all. Its one and only job is to be a temporary support system to help the patient's own liver recover from a sudden injury. So how does this actually work? Well, imagine a patient's liver suffers a sudden acute injury. Surgeons go in and transplant a helper liver to take over all the hard work, cleaning toxins from the blood, all that vital stuff. This gives the original liver the break it desperately needs to heal and regenerate. Then, once the native liver is back online and working properly, the temporary helper can actually be removed. It's an incredible bridge to recovery. Now, this helper concept can be done in two ways. One is heterotopic, which we just talked about. You add the whole donor liver in a new spot. The other is called an auxiliary partial orthotopic transplant, or APOLT for short. In that procedure, surgeons remove only the damaged part of the original liver and then replace it with a healthy piece from a donor, leaving the rest of the original liver to regenerate. Now, here is the catch, and it is a big one. This amazing technique only works for acute liver failure. That's when a previously healthy liver gets suddenly injured, but still has the power to regenerate. It's not an option for chronic conditions like cirrhosis, where the damage has happened over many, many years, and the liver has just lost its ability to heal itself. So we've covered the what, the where, and the how. But who are the patients that actually need these life-saving procedures? This table gives us a really clear picture. For adults, the main reasons are chronic diseases, things like cirrhosis caused by hepatitis C or alcohol. For kids, it's often congenital conditions they're born with, like biliary atresia. And for that acute liver failure we've been talking about, a surprisingly common cause is acetaminophen toxicity. Yep, an overdose of a common pain reliever.